It is that time. It's Monday night. Time for the Streamers Hub, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, you have me, DJ Strick, and I have an awesome show planned out for you. For everybody that's thinking about, man, how do I increase my SEO? How do I ensure that people can see me at the top of the list? Guess what? I have a guest today. We're going to talk all about it. We're going to get you in the know. We're going to give you all the details that you need today. But before we do that, of course, you know I have a couple of things I have to talk about for all of the content creators that are always thinking, man, I really want to be the best content creator. And the way to do that is to do affiliate marketing. Like if you're really ready to take your business to the next step, OneStream Live has an affiliate program where you can get up to 25% recurring commission on what you sell. Well, how does that work? I'm glad you asked. It is really simple. At any point that you send out your personal link, your affiliate link from OneStream Live to friends or family or anybody that is interested in using this technology, they actually buy it. Not use the free service, but they buy it for whatever program that is paid. You get 25% recurring commission on that sale. And all you have to do is duplicate that, duplicate that, duplicate that. And you actually have a thriving business being an affiliate marketer. It's really that simple, even for yourself. You can have a free plan from OneStream Live and be selling the service because you know how to use it to people that really need it. And guess what? You are winning. And it's really that simple. Also, if you're watching this and you're saying, hey, Strick, man, I really like the fact that you're on OneStream Live's platform on their YouTube channel, and I would like to be a content creator like you using my talents with OneStream Live, where there's a partnership program that you can be a part of. All you have to do is send your social media platforms, like the one where you have the most friends, the most followers, send that to contact at onestream.live. Send an email to them, sharing your social media, what you're actually doing right now as a content creator. Again, that's content at onestream.live. That's all you have to do. That being said, I am ready to drop into this conversation today. This is August, and we're going to be starting out talking about some things that I think as a content creator, we don't think about often enough. How people find us online. In order to do that effectively, of course, I'm having to bring some help. I have a young lady that is her business. Like this is what she does. She talks about this stuff all the time, helping people figure out their search engine optimization. Well, without any further ado, let me bring in Georgia Tan to be a part of the conversation. Georgia, how are you doing?
Hey, Strick, it's awesome to be here.
Well, thank you so very much for hanging out with me today and being a help because I know a little bit about search engine optimization, but things change so fast. And of course, we're going to be talking tonight about, well, my questions to you is how AI has changed it and what we can do in the world of AI to be sure we're using the right platforms to be seen online. So I want to drop right into the conversation. And first of all, I want to know some of your background with the search engine optimization. What is it that you actually do and how do you help people?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess simply put, how I always like to say it is, I help businesses, I help basically not only just, get visible and try to rank at the very top for all their keywords, but it's really so much more than that. It's also then, making customers actually want to get to your site, enjoy the experience, engage with all the content, and then subscribe and convert. So it's that whole funnel experience, really.
I like that. I like that because this is really, really important. Of course, we want to rank high, and that's part of it, but we also want to have a good user experience so people can convert. Because at the end of the day, as a business owner, content creator, whether I'm selling digital products or physical products, I really want people to actually buy what I have, right? You want an exchange of my products for dollars.
100%. And like with the rise of AI content and the way that ChatGPT exploded since December of 2023, which feels like very far away now, there's been a lot of, more AI generated more spammy, less unique content on the search results. So because of that, it's like even more important now to be able to create unique content, really stand out. So I feel like, yeah, SEO, content strategy, branding, yeah, just more and more important now to really, really focus on it.
Well, since you said that, let me ask you this question. How has AI changed the SEO game? Like, what is it that people need to be aware of, and are there systems that we need to be using to help us?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the biggest change is obviously with tools like GPT and Gemini, which means that we're able to really supercharge how we create content. So, everyone's talking about how they're leveraging AI content to create content that is still, in their brand tone of voice, is just as optimized, and you can produce it faster and just helps you take away some of the tedious parts of like content creation, not only in text, but even for like image generation now with Del-E, or even for video, which is getting a lot better.
Right, right.
So
And
that, yeah.
and with that being said, someone that's not using AI right now, are they going to be left behind when it comes to how the search engines are working?
Yeah, I think that if anyone hasn't really tested out AI yet, I would definitely recommend you to start. And it doesn't need to be something, hugely overwhelming. Like even just with the ChatGPT 4.0, which you can get for free, and test that. Like just start to understand how to prompt, and just think of it. I like to think of it as a really helpful assistant to be able to
Right,
just speed up things. And in terms of the search results, obviously the huge game changer is that, in the US now, we already have the AI search overviews that have been introduced, which means that what we see in the search results has changed a lot. It's not just what we call the traditional 10, articles. It's a lot more personalized, and AI can give a lot more personalized response to whatever you're searching, pull out important points. You can have a conversation with it even.
right. And that makes the difference. So let me do this. So I have my one of our panelists that comes on with me on the fourth Mondays on the Streamers Hub, and he's saying, "Good evening, Strick." He's saying that the UX, the user experience, is important. We talked about that earlier, Matt. Thank you so very much for that. But he also has a question for you, and he says that as Google is the largest search engine in the world, has flip-flopped regarding how it is seeing AI generated content. Have they come to a final word? And if so, are there any uh, is it favoring Gemini? That's what he's saying.
I mean, what we've seen as these, AI wars, constantly seeing, like ChatGPT recently came out with Search GPT,
Right.
which people are talking about as a major competitor to Google's Gemini and also Google's AI search overviews. So it's always changing about who's on top. And yes, it has been a bit disappointing to see like the quality that Google initially rolled out earlier this year, and then they rolled it back with AI search overviews just because it was coming out with a lot of results that were not factual or true,
Got you.
and were even potentially harmful for users. But yes, I mean, so if you guys have used Gemini before, it's actually great for brainstorming ideas. It prioritizes creativity over ChatGPT, which is a lot more structured, but it's a standalone product. So
Okay.
it's supposed to work with Google's AI overviews separately.
Got you.
But
So
anyway,
I
yeah.
think with his question, he's asking, has Google come back with a word of how they're handling all of this AI generated content that's online? Because of course, Google can see that it's AI generated, or in some cases, if people don't change it up much, there's a way for the computer to know that another computer did the work. Has it decided how it would rank, or how they would rank that AI generated content?
So what obviously Google is always cagey with what they say, but we have seen them mention, and this is why they have had algorithm updates like the helpful content update, the core update coming soon, to really be able to identify that spammy content. However, they've also said it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's AI generated or
Okay.
human written, as long as you follow the guidelines of being helpful, providing value, providing engaging content, which we now know is actually a ranking factor. So when a customer or reader clicks into an article, and how long you spend on the page, whether you go to other pages, whether you jump back to the search results because you weren't happy, all of that is part of how you are ranked on Google.
So, Georgia, I would tell people as a content creator, and this is a very, very small part, not really ranking websites, but ranking or having the right keyword uses in your YouTube channel. So I would tell people your title and your description, they need to match. So words that you have in your title, you need to also have those words inside of your description. And in your description, I was explaining to people that a lot of people don't automatically read YouTube descriptions, but Google reads it. So you want to be sure that when it's written detailed enough so when the computer or Google is reading that, it knows what user to send it to. That has always been my statement. Is that right to explain to people when it comes to a very small part of search engines, which is or how creators would use it for each video, a great title, but there's also matched with keywords inside of the description and making sure that you understand you're talking to the computer more than a person?
I definitely would agree with that. I think that for the title, like the what we call like your primary keyword, it's super important to have in your title. And then definitely agree with you about putting that in the description. And since we have a lot more space for the description, that's also a great place to then sprinkle in more of your secondary keywords, which kind of build and help you rank all together. Um, yeah, so definitely, even if people don't really read descriptions, Google does.
Right.
Another huge thing, obviously, would be like your image tiles for the videos. Super important for click-through rate, engaging with the content.
And right now, there are AI apps and softwares that actually are able to help you create those as well.
That's right. There's all kinds of things. Like you could be, creating your avatar. So it's not really doesn't have to be you physically doing the video. It could be just the avatar of you with your voice, your face. You could have someone, creating the video or editing it, helping to create a transcript if that you needed time saving, or the image as well. So yeah, there's so many use cases for using AI in that space too.
I like that. Let's go back to Matt. He has something else he want to ask. He says yes, and if they are allowing AI generated content to rank, are they favoring content generated with AIG? I'm not sure if I
With
got
the
that right.
algo, I got it.
Used by Gemini over OpenAI, ChatGPT, etc. So that's a good question.
I mean, that's definitely something Google will never tell us or answer. So that would be very, very interesting to do a big test on that, actually. But no, I think the official answer is like it's not about where or how you've generated the content, and you're going to be editing it anyway. So it's not going to be just, oh, I just did this with ChatGPT or Gemini did this. It should be you, the creator of the brand, regardless. So I think the main thing is to just focus on that final quality content, not necessarily which tool you use, but whatever's going to get you the best results and you feel most comfortable using. I think that's the most important thing.
So let me ask you this question. How does AI help with user intent? like to help improve our search results? How does AI help with that?
It's a great question. So I would say that the way Google works, it's not necessarily using the AI in its main, like, core ranking algorithm more than before. I'm pretty like they're always making changes to the core one, but that is a very, very complex system that's still getting upgraded. But where AI does come in for us, it's great, say, for me to when I'm doing my keyword research, can definitely speed up the way that you can identify what type of keyword is this, what is the user intent. You can categorize it, like, is this like in the discovery phase? Is this when people are, comparing different buying guides and reviews? Or is this when someone is, already chosen your product and they're just looking at specific features and questions like that? So it's great for categorization um, and clustering of your content ideas. And also, the second part would be more about how AI in the search results is able to really personalize what you show. So for example, like if I just Googled something very specific and long tail, like what is the best Italian restaurant near me with a great view, or something like very bit long. Now AI is able to process what has been said, like on Google Maps, in all the articles, and it can spit out something like, for me specifically, based on this, I would recommend these 5 places because of XYZ, with photos, with details, reviews, everything.
It is so funny that we are even asking the computer those kind of questions. Like the computer, Google has never eaten at any of these Italian restaurants, but you are right. We ask Google those questions all the time. And what's happening is we're getting better and better responses, and AI is helping with that.
That's so true. I mean, at the end of the day, we can see, AI as, I guess, like a better assistant to sort of like gauge that customer sentiment based off everything that's been said on the web. But definitely agree that sometimes it still gets it wrong because it hasn't actually tried it itself. It's only based off the hive mind, I guess.
Right. Somewhere somebody has inputted that as an article and is reading that article and trying to tell us, hey, these are ones that are near you and ones that people say they really like. I haven't seen, even because I've asked questions like that, even them sending reviews. They just may be pulling articles to come up with what the best may be. That being said, are there any type of systems, AI systems out right now that can help in creating keywords that are optimized for us?
So I think, like, even with ChatGPT, it can be great to get more keyword ideas. Like if you give it, say, your seed keywords, for example, um, Italian restaurant, for couples, romantic, whatever, it can come up with different keyword ideas for you. So it's great for that. And then what I would do is still plug it into an SEO tool, a third party one, like your Ahrefs, your SEMrush, and so many of these tools now have baked in AI to really make everything faster and make it easier for people to categorize your keywords, to like cluster them and understand the groupings, and make suggestions as well.
Gotcha.
So definitely helpful.
Do you think that it's helpful for people to understand that with systems like OpenAI, Claude, Luma, that they are in Google Gemini, like all of these systems are pulling from, all of these systems are being used to build other apps on top of. So if I've seen an app that may have been niched down to come up with keywords on the back end, it's just using OpenAI and ChatGPT to be able to give me the information. Is that true?
100% in terms of most applications we see, yeah, they're most likely using like the OpenAI API and still built on that latest model. But I think the key difference is about the specific data that that model has been trained on. So for all of these apps, they would have done a great job of using their proprietary, their customer data, and really training that version of OpenAI to really know everything about the product, its customers, its brand, tone of voice, common support questions, for example. So it's really more about how you train it, and like you can even make your own GPT now using
Right.
GPT-4 with the paid version to make it more specific to whatever you want.
Now, I'm excited about the ability of being able to build something or use it as an assistant. I'm not sure if you are familiar with the it's a device called the Rabbit. Are you familiar with that?
No,
So it's an
tell me
assistant,
more.
and there's several that are out right now. But the Rabbit is a little red box. It really reminds me of like a small Game Boy. It flips open. It has a camera on it. So it was based off the idea before Apple and everybody started to having these AI assistants built into the phone. It was the first one to market. The Rabbit is the first one to market, but actually has a camera. And if you're doing tasks, you can have it look at the tasks that you're doing and remember those tasks and help you put it in sequence. All right. So instead of you continue to do those simple tasks, it can now do those tasks for you. I think it's a great idea, but the market has moved so fast that Apple has come out with the Apple Intelligence. So now all these other platforms, I mean, you can just basically do the same thing on your phone. There's Chat GPT that you can get on your phone. It's all there for you now, where you don't have to get another device to do the same thing.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think now it's just so easy to be able to, yeah, do everything just on your mobile because you could just go on the app on there, and so many platforms online as well. I think now the hardest part for anyone, like as a content creator or just as like a normal person that wants to speed things up for themselves, is then finding their own best process. Like, am I going to use all of these different generative AI assistants? Am I going to pick one? Which am I going to use for what? And yeah, all of that.
Yeah, it's a lot to be thinking of. Let me ask you this question. Um, when it comes to, let's go with best practices. Someone is trying their best to optimize in this world of new AI. And we just go with what we understand the most, which is websites. They're trying to optimize their website. What are some of the best practices that you would recommend for them to be thinking about in the world of AI?
So what I've been telling people, since we've really seen the rise of AI content, basically we need to understand how it generates that content. And as it's like it's using large language models, it's only able to write basically about what it knows, and it has like a high confidence that these are the established things that fit under this topic. And so everyone that uses AI like ChatGPT to write content, you're only going to get stuff within that remit. So if you actually want to stand out and rank really well, what you need to do is focus on what I call information gain, which is talking about things that ChatGPT doesn't know much about. So because if you can talk about that, then you're adding something new, valuable, helpful, and unique to the search results. And Google's going to have to prioritize that. So you will then, like, for example, for any topic that you're trying to write about, like, how can you think about adding in a fresh perspective, whether that's like a unique quote or something from an expert or some sort of tip that ChatGPT could never come up with because it doesn't know anything about it. And by adding in all those little valuable pieces of information, like you'll be able to rank a lot higher, both in
Hmm.
Google and also in this new field now, which is about how do you actually show up in the generative response within ChatGPT or within Gemini. Like, how can your brand be the one showing up there as well, not just on Google? So that is what I call generative engine optimization, or GEO, which is starting to become a huge field now.
I was
Because
going to say,
again, it's
this is
not
my
just
first time
Google.
hearing about that, Georgia. I
Yeah,
didn't know.
for sure. I think this is something that it's only going to get much bigger as, we're already seeing people lose trust with Google and find such helpful and personalized information with
Right,
things like ChatGPT. And as ChatGPT comes to voice search, like with Siri, I think that's going to be massive.
right. I agree. Because that comes that personal assistance. It's right there on your phone in your hand,
Exactly.
and it's not anything extra you have to do for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think for a long time, there's just been a bit lacking in terms of how powerful voice assistants are and what, when you ask it something, what it comes up with. But I think once it does come, it's going to be so much easier to just have a conversation with your smart voice assistant, who could then look things up for you through Google or literally through ChatGPT. We don't even have to type it. Be getting even lazier.
And that makes it easy for all of us because we can't be lazy when it comes to this stuff. We want our information, we just don't want to do a lot of work to get to it. So I think that makes a lot of sense when you're talking about how we can use all of this. But I do want to ask you this question: what role does machine learning play in the personalization of search engine results?
So I think this is it's a huge area. So the first thing I would say is, yeah, Google's already been using machine learning for a long time to be able to personalize the results we see, like based on, things that we click on, the type of content we like to read, our location, like where we're based. But I guess where this has been really supercharged is, for example, like when you're shopping, like say it doesn't even have to be, it could be on Amazon, using machine learning to get recommended products, like the most likely combinations. If someone wants to buy this hairbrush, they're going to get this hair dryer as well. Or even thinking about algorithms on social media, like on TikTok, if you're watching this video about where to find the Italian restaurant, you want to know how to make tiramisu as well, whatever, and then it'll show up and customize. So all of that is incorporating machine learning to
Right.
be able to understand and predict the most likely combinations.
Something that YouTube has been doing for a while when it comes to the videos that it recommends to
Of
you as well.
course.
It's like, how did you know I wanted to see that video? Well, I do. Thank you. Let's do this. I definitely want to say hello to Erica. Erica Bates is in the comments. Thank you for hanging out with us. And also, we have another question from Matt. In terms of keywords, are the long tail keywords still the king of SEO? So we'll start from there. And there's a healthy ratio of single and long tail keywords. That's a good is good for maximizing your SEO efforts as well. What do you think?
Yeah, so for a long time, the statistic has always been that, long tail keywords should make up about, they probably account for about 60 to 70% of all the keywords that your site would rank for, even though, head terms are where all the volume is for commercial searches. But what we're seeing now is that SEO is going to be getting even more, a lot more long tail. And
Let me
this is,
interrupt you
yeah,
if you don't mind, Georgia. Let me interrupt you here because some people, hands raised, don't understand what long tail or short tail keywords are. Can you start with that for me?
yes, of course.
Thank
So
you.
we would see essentially the head term is like, is a lot shorter. So for example, if it was like OneStream Live, you might
Hmm.
search, like live streaming platform, and then long tail query is getting a lot more granular. It could be you having a question like, what does OneStream Live do? It could be how to use OneStream Live. So it's a lot more specific.
Gotcha.
Generally, less people will be typing in something that is more granular, but there are more unique searches like that, and they're generally less competitive for you to try to target the long tail queries.
Gotcha. And is there a
So
balance to the ratio of long and short tail?
yeah, so what I would be recommending now is that SEO is about to get extremely long tail, just because now with AI search and being able to ask questions in a conversation with ChatGPT, everything is going to get a lot more personalized. So what I would recommend is that we need to be focusing on how to optimize for your more conversational questions. Like, I'm not going to be bothering to search just Italian restaurant with a view in the city, or just Italian restaurant view city, which is like how we would search normally, in a
Right.
way that's not like how you're asking a friend. But now you could be saying, I think I want Italian and I'd like to have a view. I want the vibe to be romantic with my partner. And you can start, it's going to be, you can ask it anyway like that. And so it's how can we optimize for that situation?
And I think that makes the difference. And that's definitely where we're headed. Like your example to me shows us how the advancement of AI is going to help all of us, because in the past, we would want to ask Google that question that way. Google just would not accept it. It'll get lost in a word that's not meaningful and show you to search for rooftops instead of restaurants, you
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
So
For
if
sure.
the AI with the language model is now helping us be able to communicate better back and forth, I am all for it.
I totally agree with you. Like, I know there's been some frustrations about the quality, but it's only getting better. And at the end of the day, it's going to make it so much easier and so much more helpful for us to really find information, because instead of having to like read 10 articles and skim through them, Google or any generative AI that crawls the web will be able to come back with that personalized response for you.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. So I got a couple more questions, and Erica is in the chat here, Georgia, and she's saying that she just read today where Google was or is being sued by the federal government for being a monopoly. Have you heard about the states having claims on Google for that?
I have been seeing how they've been having, like, they had the DOJ lawsuit and these back and forth things. So that is, it's going to be it's always very interesting to see how, yeah, the legal part is going to play in it. And this is something we've been questioning, like, is Google going to be able to keep its monopoly?
That
Is
is
OpenAI coming in as the rival? Are we going to see the disaggregation of search and people now using all kinds of different platforms, being able to just, say, be on different social media things and get answers too?
Georgia, I know my show is for content creators. We're talking about AI helping us with search engine optimization and how best to be able to use AI to do that. But it just makes me think from a financial standpoint that we're on the beginning of this, the cusp of it. And for all of us that have bought Google stock, you might want to be mindful of what the next player is in the game. Not only which one do you favor in using, if it's Gemini or OpenAI, because that may make a difference in even some financial decisions that you make. I know we're not talking about that, but I think it has to be a part of what everybody's thinking as well.
And I think a lot of people feel this way, that now is the time to think about, yeah, diversifying your strategy. not putting all the eggs in only the Google basket, but yeah, you know, still, you know, on YouTube, on TikTok, etc. And also thinking about how to then optimize to be showing up in your ChatGPT result, for example.
I missed that point earlier. I never kind of went back into that when you said it before, but I did hear that ChatGPT would have its own kind of like search. And how should people be thinking about? You said they should be thinking about it. Like, what can we do to be sure that we show up in ChatGPT?
So there was recently, I think the very first research done on how to optimize to show up for generative engine optimization. And they mentioned, you know, some key things to think about, which are not overly complicated, I think make a lot of sense, which are, for example, you want to show yourself as being trustworthy. And that means actually adding quotations from experts in your content, actually having citations
Hmm.
and references, because that shows that you are a credible source. So being even just simple things like yeah, focusing on adding more expert quotations, statistics in your content, as well as having good readability, even writing it in a way that is a little bit more authoritative rather than like basically cutting out the fluff, making it easy for search GPT, chat GPT, Gemini to troll through your article and see that actually this is a great snippet here. This is a great expert quote. I think you are a good source. So I'm gonna plug you in the response.
I like that. And in order to get a great article for your website, you want to use AI to be sure that you are being very thoughtful of the material, but you also want, because you mentioned this, and I think it needs to be said so everybody can get it again, that you also want to source where you got the information from, where ChatGPT at one time was not sourcing. You can get it to source now in some of the latest models. Is that true?
So right now it's still in beta, but once it rolls out, that's right, we will see Search GPT from ChatGPT able to reference sources just like how Gemini can or Perplexity can do that,
Complexity,
and
yes.
other, yes.
Yeah, Matt Vogtman, he's been in the comments. He kind of introduced me to Perplexity. I have decided, and I want to ask you this question about my decision. After doing some research through Claude, Perplexity, I have started Gemini and ChatGPT because of the the technology is growing so fast. I'm very familiar with prompt writing for ChatGPT, so I want to stay with that programming as they're advancing it. ChatGPT, ChatGPT Mini. There's so many things that they're coming out with. I feel like if I stay with them, learning how, already have learned how to write the correct prompts, that I wouldn't miss out by trying to do Claude and then using Perplexity and having to take the time to learn all these things, or should I be learning them all and then kind of waiting until the technology, somebody surpasses everybody, but I have a good idea of how to use all of them at the same time? What do you think? What would be your recommendation with that?
Yeah, I know it's quite overwhelming to get all the
Yes,
different choices.
yes,
And no, I think that ChatGPT is extremely solid all-round option to do all of that. So actually, no, I think that for anyone that you're already comfortable prompting for ChatGPT, there's so many different like add-ons like for different things like your like data analysis or image generation, searching the web and other things. No, I think that you could completely use ChatGPT for all of that, because it's more about what you're comfortable with using on a consistent basis
right,
to scale, I would say.
right. Am I wrong in saying that even though I know how to write the prompts for ChatGPT, those prompt writings could be the same across the board, right?
I think that you don't need to change the prompt. I don't think you need to change the prompt too much. Like for example, with Gemini, you could completely use the prompt you had in ChatGPT, and I've actually found that some other platforms, you don't have to prompt in as a structured way compared to ChatGPT. So it'd be a lot easier to go from just prompting on ChatGPT to then testing out like on Gemini, on Perplexity, on Claude.
Gotcha. I'm sorry, Georgia. I kind of got distracted in my office here. I have one little friend that has made it into my office, and I'm swinging at him. I try to do my best to take care of him before the show, and he says, I am not going away. So if you see me swinging or stop by camera again, it's one of my little friends here that will not go away with all these lights going on. So he's just buzzing around. He even went to the microphone. So if somebody's watching this in a replay, they'll probably hear the fly going up to the microphone and talking. That being said, there's a couple things in the chat that I want to get back to. Matt has said, hey, test the exact same prompt in each language model and see what the results are. Decide which one gives you the most consistent results. And that's a great idea, Matt. So I got to spend a day trying to figure that one out. I got it. So you put it on my list of things to do. I got it, Matt. Claude is okay for me. Chat and Gemini come first. Okay, Erica, I can take that as well. Thank you for chiming in. Hey, just like loving the show and what you're doing. Let me see. I can't. Okay. It's a media group coming in. Thank you so very much for hanging out with us tonight. We love it that people are in the comments, and thank Erica and Matt. You guys keep the questions coming. I have Georgia here for a little bit longer. I'm gonna hold it just a little bit longer. So if you have any questions for her, go ahead and put them in the chat. We want to help you guys be able to use AI in your listen. If you're not using it for your search engine optimization, or now I learned a new term. I won't call it geo. It's GEO. It's not you.
GEO.
GEO. So they're not calling it geo, but GEO. Tell me what the G stands for again. Generative
Generative.
Search engine
Engine.
optimization. I got it. I
That's
got
right.
it. So generative, because now we're using the generative AI, the large language models, to be able to give us the information. Georgia,
Exactly.
I'm learning something today. Like this is really helping me. I got the vocabulary words and everything down.
Yeah, we've made a lot of headway.
We did. So let's get into one of the things that I know, Georgia, that you are into more than others. You love talking about AI, but it's also including once someone gets to your site, you have things in place using AI as well to be sure they hit the purchase finalize button as well. Can you talk to us about that and how you help people in that way?
Yeah, so for me, I think it's super important to be thinking about the user journey, the user experience, and basically it's like funnel optimization. Um, because that's the end game at the end of the day, the conversion. So in order to do that, like before a customer even gets your website, if you can really leverage understanding your audience, like knowing your audience, that's the most important thing. And to do that, like what I believe is that, SEOs and content creators, we shouldn't just be on the SEO tools to do that research. We need to also look at like your brands, your customer data, potentially do user interviews or surveys first to get like more like deeper user insights. That will
Mm-hmm.
really help you to really supercharge what type of content you're writing and really understand how your user is feeling and what they're thinking and what their pain points are throughout every stage, from going to like, I don't understand what this is, to let me compare different options, to okay, I know what the options are, but why should I pick this one? and really being able to nail how to answer that. So I would say don't forget about using other sorts of data sources to enrich your strategy. Think holistically, consider, like, build a user persona for every important one you have, and this will humanize, like, like, say when you're creating your YouTube strategy, you can think this is the main type of audience. His name is Henry, and he likes these things, and he has these main problems. So if you like, consider the user personas as well. And what I also like to do is actually build out a customer journey map for every single persona. So I have a very clear understanding of how they, like, what their main pain points are, like not just things like demographics, but really being more like, this person was feeling like really overwhelmed at the beginning. And for example, Henry just wants to, for example, with the Italian restaurant, it wasn't the price, for example, that was the main factor. It was more about really enjoying romantic experience, for example.
Right.
So yeah, customer journey mapping. And then in terms of engagement, don't forget that you can use A/B testing to really nail, like, if you have different theories about what is going to make people want to convert, you can test changing the headline you have above the fold. You can have different images that can be super powerful. You can switch out content modules, move things earlier, and that can see a huge uplift in your conversions from your landing page.
I like that. Georgia, I decided just to let you go and not to interrupt you because I personally am going to hit the replay button on this and just listen to the last couple of things that you've said because you have given us great ideas to start with. Talked about, hey, and I thought about what I've used in the past because I have used a prompt to come up with user personas. Like, these are the people that I want to track, and giving it details, and AI has then said, hey, these are some user personas that you want to be mindful of. But building that and then building your roadmap for the user. When you're talking about roadmap, you're saying, hey, this is the screen and the button they need to press to get to the next one, and they get to the next one, and then they get to actually purchasing. I want to be sure that the experience, the pages, everything looks right, positioned right, and is very simple for them to use. Am I correct in saying that?
Exactly. I think you have your persona, you understand every stage, not just in super simple terms like informational, navigational, commercial, but a lot deeper than that. Like, someone is looking for something for entertainment, to then being in comparison mode, to wanting modules from, they might initially want to discover your content on YouTube, but then they go to website and start looking at product reviews. So being really able to narrow down that at a more granular level, and also understand different content formats and the different channels that someone is on, is so also important to really get like a epic strategy that's super targeted for your customer.
Wow, that's good. Again, I will be in my own show's replay, getting all of this information. Pastor Dre, I see you've entered the comments in the chat, so thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Georgia, let me ask you this question. You have given us a lot of details, and you have been that expert guest that we've been looking for, especially when it comes to SEO or GEO. I'm still not saying it right, but the
I think we could say geo too.
Geo. Okay, good. And you've given us some great stuff. If we need more information, I know do you have a way that people can get in contact with you to get more details about what you're doing and how you can help them understand this?
100%. So you can message me add me on LinkedIn, send me a message. Should be Georgia SW Tan, TAN. And I have my website as well, Switch Key Digital, that you can look up and contact me through there too.
I love it. You have been excellent for me tonight, and I am sorry. I am twitching so much because my friend will not let me go tonight. He actually got into my room and decided that he's going to bug me the rest of the night flying around with all these lights on. That being said, thank you for coming on and hanging out with us in the Streamers Hub tonight. This has been an excellent topic. I have learned a lot, and I'm going to get more details about how even some of the smaller things that I'm doing as a content creator could be enhanced more with AI. And I appreciate you saying that if I do focus on ChatGPT and all of the stuff it is doing, it may not be the worst decision. Matt wants me to do the extra work, which is doing a prompt and see how everybody responds. So I'm gonna go around the long road too, just to be sure I'm making the right decision. But I appreciate your expert opinion as well.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. It's been a blast to talk about it with you.
That's awesome. So good to meet you. Thanks for being here. Hey guys, Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, you have me, DJ Strick, in the Streamers Hub. I would love to see you next Monday night. So come back, hang out with us. And thank you, Erica, Matt, Dr. Dre, and the media group for coming through in the chats tonight. I would love it if you're watching this and you didn't make it live, you can still say that you saw it in the replay. Okay, guys?